SCP-725 – a parrot whale. Sometimes the SCP Foundation fights monsters and anomalies, and sometimes they have to contain something that's fairly common in our world but seems to be broken. For SCP-725, a parrot whale, sounds are more than just communication. This one eagerly repeats every sound it hears and can even make up new ones. With a creature of this size, this can lead to some problems. It was recovered after causing maritime disruptions in Bay. Small anatomical differences may indicate it is a subspecies of that organism or initial hypothesis of increased intelligence or self-awareness proved false. SCP-725 has demonstrated no mental capabilities beyond standard aptitudes of its parent species. What it does have are remarkable abilities of radio retention and mimicry. In effect, it remembers precisely every sound it hears and is able to repeat them at will. This includes unnatural sounds like high-frequency vibrations, which other whales cannot duplicate. In captivity, the subject exhibits a compulsive need to seek out and repeat new sounds. This may be an adaptive mimicry, a reproductive strategy, or once Foundation personnel began playing audio recordings on a regular basis in the enclosure, this behavior subsided. The subject exhibits preferences for some sounds which it will repeat for weeks, months, or longer, while others it will simply ignore. If recordings are repeated or withheld, the subject may become agitated and attempt to break containment. This compulsion is theorized to be responsible for the subject's aggressiveness in the wild, as it often repeats the noises of a ship breaking up or its crew cries for help, but seems physically unable to derive nourishment from attacks on humans. Subject is confined to a small coastal inlet adjacent to Sector 07. SCP-725 shows all biological requirements of its wild analogs and is to be fed and its enclosure maintained according to on-site biologists. Because of the subject's excitable nature, all watercraft are prohibited from operating within a 20-kilometer radius of the enclosure, except as a measure to deter other marine mammals from lingering in the vicinity. Audio recordings are to be played on the hydrophone in the subject's enclosure according to the current project director. Capture Summary 725. A rash of unexplained maritime disappearances triggered the preliminary investigation. Local authorities were responding to alleged attacks on watercraft, researching communication buoys, and eventually people at sea. This culminated in an attack on the US Navy submarine, which resulted in superficial and structural damage, but no loss of life. A further 23 incidents and 19 individuals lost at sea may be attributable to the subject. In the same time period, fishermen have been reporting odd noises echoing across the ocean in the early morning, suggestive of crashing waves even during calm conditions, crashing and grinding like ships colliding, mournful wails of disembodied cries for help. In all cases, the noises were clear and could be heard for miles, but no source was observed. The reports have since been definitely linked to SCP-725 and possibly other wild individuals. Dr. did a preliminary on-site examination of the reports and the organism before classifying it as SCP-725 and remanding it to Foundation custody. Addendum 72501. In a few instances, SCP-725 has been observed to cease motion and produce a sound reminiscent of other whales' songs. Due to water conditions at these times, the noise can be detected up to kilometers away. On occasions, answering songs have been recorded from an indeterminate source. Analysis of the songs indicates separate individuals and apparent, but have failed to shed light on their purpose or meaning. Addendum Incident 72503. At hours. A pod of right whales passed near the containment enclosure. Upon reaching a point 32 kilometers away, they suddenly altered course and began heading directly towards it. Boats were dispatched to halt their advance using acoustic deterrents, which were ignored. The whales then dove to the bottom of the ocean, resurfacing at the seawall and breaching themselves forcefully. The animals continued thrashing violently, inflicting deep wounds on themselves until they expired. Analysis of acoustic recordings revealed that SCP-725 was emitting a subsonic signal for the duration of the incident. Well, it is unknown if SCP-725 is a modern miracle or existed for many years. In a later case, the presence of whales similar to 725 could explain some legends of the sea, like sirens who called ships to the shore and fed on their souls, or maybe just on the sounds they made.